Hi guys, all right, welcome back. We are here today with a MicroKorg that's kind of obviously seen better days. Um, we've got a missing knob here. Everything is completely sun bleached. We got this little maneuver here. This key's toast. This key's toast. This knob is broken. Main board is good. The pads and the key contact board were good and fully functional, but because of this broken key and this broken key, it really doesn't make sense to, and the fact that it's just so yellowed and hosed up, it doesn't really make sense to, try to fix these keys. So I took that out and sold those parts separately. What I want to do with this unit is something that I've really kind of wanted to do for a long time. I just didn't have a chance to do it or a good candidate. And now we've got a good candidate. And what I want to do is turn this into a module. That's going to involve, getting rid of the keys. What I do want to do though is retain the pitch mod wheel. A lot of the modules I see people convert these to lose that, and I'd like to keep that. I'm not exactly sure that's going to work, but for now it's something I want to try to do. And I don't know if we're going to put them up here, if we're going to like just maybe cut this piece and put them on the front of the unit here. But I just want, I'd like to keep them if we can. Anyway, I have no plan other than, what I've discussed, which is what I want to do. I've made no measurements. I haven't thought about what's on the inside. So we're going to figure it out together and see what's going on. And this may turn into a tragedy or not. We'll see. At any rate, I've gone ahead and opened up the unit because I took the keys, keypad contact board, and the pads out. So I did a bunch of testing. I had other boards I wanted to test, so et cetera, et cetera. So I've already opened this unit up, and I'm going to go ahead and pop these keys out. I've already undone there's a screw here and a screw here that I've already popped. Just going to get that out of the way and then get this key bed out. So if I look here, I can see these two grounds are for the key bed, so I'm going to go ahead and remove them. We don't need those anymore now that the key bed's gone. So it's been a while since I made a video. I've been super busy with getting the shop up and running and inventory in and out and other things as well. I had a surgery, so that's been interesting. Those really slow you down. If you've never had a proper full-on surgery before, everything turned out well, so that's good. And I actually did make a couple of videos, or I tried to make two, but one of them just was 20 parts, and it would have taken me 20 hours to edit. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to solve a unit instead of spending 20 hours. So anyway, I've kind of got the shop running pretty well now, and I hope to be able to make videos more often. So, okay, what do we got here? So, I think what I'll do with this, let me compare, because I've got a couple of other frames here, and I just want to see which one of these is in the best shape. Let's just show proof of life before we get the saws out. Yeah, you can see this thing's just nice and all is well. That's what you want to see. None of the tacks are spent. Everything's in good shape. I'll figure out what to do with this broken knob here. I'm not worried about that so much. I've got spare knobs, so it's not a huge deal. Anyway, proof of life. And this one actually works. Oh, it's one of the older ones. Just press it back out and it turns off. Yeah, the main outs and everything work on this one just fine. So yeah, so I think what I'll do, I'm going to leave this as is. I basically want to make a cut just right along this line. So I'm going to measure that out on my saw and just run one of these guys through there and just zip the front off and you know, go from there. We're going to go ahead and get the saw out and start having some fun here. If a power saw isn't fun, then what is, right? So again, I think we're going to make our cut along this line. And hey, I apologize for the audio out here, but I don't have my mic set up out here, so just got to do the best we can. But yeah, I want to cut right along this line. So, and just real quick, what I've done, I put screws in so that this is held together. We don't want this getting out of alignment while we're doing these cuts. So let's see what happens here. All right, I'm gonna get some hearing protection, then we'll give this a go. All right, so need to raise it up a little bit. Just want to make sure that our blade is, well, we're actually cutting lower, so it doesn't need to be quite that tall. We're good there. This ought to be interesting. It feels like it's right on the money. Alright guys, here goes nothing. Alright. I'm covered in plastic. So my cut was a little tight. You could see we were nicking that this front plane here. Once I started, I didn't want to stop, so I just kept going. Luckily, we have a nice, it just worked out the way these screws are set up, so I could set a piece of wood up here, attach it here, you know, here, whatever. We've got some holes to go into. Our battery compartment's good. I'm gonna call this a good cut. Like that's pretty legit. That's gonna give us a nice frame for our module. All right, guys, we're back with our MicroKorg here after getting all our cuts made. And I think we're in pretty good shape. You know, we got our mod and pitch wheel pieces that we wanted. We got our front plate. We've got this guy cut good. So the theory from here is, you know, we're gonna slap that guy on there and we're gonna make room and get these two pitch and mod wheels mounted something like so, and clean it all up and, you know, go from there. We got a piece of wood here that looks really nice, and I can use it for both the sides and the front of this unit. And yeah, it's a good piece of wood, straight, and it ought to work out nicely. And I was just checking. I mean, talk about the luck of the Irish. I guess it's just, I'm not Irish. I guess it's just, maybe this is just a, you know, whatever it is, standard 2 feet. But that length is perfect. This must be exactly 2 feet. Or no, I guess it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I just end up with this cut that's the right width. That's not standard at all. It just happens to be the exact same width. Definitely cool. So I think we'll go from this side, and we're just going to do this here. I wonder if that edge a little straight. Yeah, there we go. That's going to work out well. So let's get a pen. And let's just draw a line here. Alright guys, so we're back with a piece of wood here. We actually ended up with two because it's such a thick board. I kind of, it was that thick, so I cut it about down the middle. And we can use either piece. Probably going to use this piece because it's just cleaner and it's thinner and it's just going to make a better fit. But yeah, it's going to look nice. I mean, it's going to be proper. And then we'll put some, matching wood sides here as well, which we'll angle cut. And yeah, this thing ought to look pretty nice when it's done. I think I am going to go for aesthetics over having a functioning and pitch and mod wheel, simply because I just don't even know how really to mount these without ruining my piece of wood. Tough call. I mean, that's why I see a lot of these without the pitch and mod wheel, and that's probably why. It's like, how do you do it? What I want to do now, I want to go ahead and get this mounted in here properly, and we'll work through that, but I'm going to eat some lunch, so I'll be back in a bit, guys. Alright guys, so we're back after lunch here, and yeah, we want to go ahead and start getting the exterior of our MicroKorg module wrapped up. So the first thing I really want to do is get this front plate mounted and see what that looks like, and make sure that we can get this lifted properly, and yeah, we just want to make sure this is nice and flush and looking good. And we'll do some sanding and we'll do some staining and we'll do all that good stuff. But first things first is just to make sure we can even mount the thing. So I've got a bunch of screws here from the MicroKorg, although there may be better screws to use. I'll have to see what kind of pans out here. This side's actually going to be the best side. Let's do some sanding real quick and just make sure we can get rid of these marks from the saw. Yeah, alright, this is going to work out, but let's get some different sandpaper. Let's see what this is. This is 220. Yeah, this ought to do it really nicely. Yeah, it's a bit faster. 120 is the way to go. While we're at it, let's just get these edges. Yeah, that feels good to the touch. The back's nice and square, and we rounded out the front. Yeah, just a perfect fit, dude. Couldn't be better. So, let us see here. I'm going to get some screws in the top. So if you look closely, you just see this curvature. See how there's more room here, less room here, more room here. Just going to put a screw, just pop this up. What I need to do though, I need to take this apart and then get a screw in and then put it back together. And this screw might be too long. I gotta feel to make sure it doesn't come through the other side. It might be just right though. Yeah, just about right. It's a little too tall. So hopefully I can go a little more without coming to the other side. I can actually come to the other side a little bit and just shave it off if I need to. That should do it pretty well. Let's see what our piece of wood says. Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to work with now. This is going to be one of the most delicate parts of what I'm doing. I'm going to use these 3 pillars as my first supports. Okay. Complicated business. Wow, this bit is dull as can be. Oh, shit. Alright. It's going to go all the way through. You know what? It doesn't matter. On this part, it can be like that. Let's see what that feels like anyway. It might bite. Yeah, actually, let's do that, because that is actually the way to go. I don't know if this video will ever see the light of day. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it works out. There we go. It goes through the plastic. I can see it going through. And there we go. Pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, that's solid, guys. So I think the trick now is digging into whatever's left on the top here. And in order to see what's there, I gotta loosen these up a bit. There's really just nothing structural. I can look at another one. There's just nothing structurally there. There's one structural point. Okay, actually there's not. There's 3. I can do the same 3. So what I'm looking at, on the bottom, I went into the 3 posts that go here, here, and here. So on the top, I'm going to go into these 3 posts. Do the same exact thing. If you're wondering of all these extra cases I have, if you want one of these, check my eBay. I'll put it in the link. I'll sell. I got MicroKorg cases for days. There's so many of them that come in are just dead. Usually people plug in the wrong power supply because these are center pin negative. They plug in a center pin positive, and that's the end of the MicroKorg. That's usually what happens. So I do want to take these out. Tell you what, I want to leave the middle one in. I want to take the other 2 out. I want to be able to spin this. Look at what I'm working with. So I'm going to get my little drill bit out again. Start the hole with this guy. Then we'll finish it off with the bigger one. Okay, so the most challenging part of our build, I think, is complete. Which was, what the hell do we do for our front piece? There it is. Bulging up a little bit. That's unfortunate. We can fix that. I think I know what to do here. The screw might be a little more ceremonial. It's going to straighten out some too once the board's in there. Board's going to push up on this. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our sides cut. That's the next big challenge, I think. And then we can get into actually putting in the components that we're going to be using. Yeah, now essentially I want to get, I just want to trace our end pieces. I don't really think it matters so much. I guess we want to go with the grain, so we're going to go like this. Yeah, this is what we'll do. So we're going to cut this piece, and then we're going to cut it in half, and that'll be our two side pieces. So I'm going to go do that off camera, and then bring the pieces back. Alright guys, we're picking it up the next day here. It's a little early, so the lighting isn't so great yet, but I went ahead and decided to cut two new pieces for the third time. These were just a little wonky. This curve here, this curve here. They just didn't. If you compare it to what I just cut, you can see it's just a lot more uniform. This is a really clean look. And I'm just now putting it on. Look how much cleaner that is. It's all the way to the back, flat down the back, flat across the top, flat on the front. So in this case, the third try, I pulled it off. All right, let's hope we have enough dark walnut. I don't think that we do. But let's find out. Alright guys, we're back after a quick break here, and we've got our wood pieces. They're looking good, but we want to make sure that they're also durable, and the steam would wear off, the wood would absorb sweat, and over time this could lose its appeal if we don't polycoat it. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on that. The only bad news is that it's going to take some time to dry, so it's just the way it goes. Alright guys, we're back with the MicroKorg here. We've given our wood paneling some time to dry, and it's time for the final assembly. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think this thing's going to look really, really sweet when it's done. So let's get to it and hope everything goes well here. Let's see. First thing I want to do is get our front plate on. Came out really nice. Got a couple of saw marks here. I could have sanded it a little better. I actually thought I had sanded it perfectly, but I can see now that I didn't quite, but nobody's going to care. It's not really going to show up. So look how nice that is, though, as far as the color goes. It's going to be a nice looking little unit here. So all right, guys. After much work, some trial and error, we have a really sweet looking Korg module, MicroKorg module. Nice looking wood sides, stained. These are Korg screws, so they look right at home. And overall, yeah, I'm really happy with the way this came out. It looks really sweet. The last thing we kind of need to do is just test her and make sure she still makes noise. But yeah, it's looking really nice. Let's power this guy up. And let's power this guy up. And we should turn our volume up. Yeah, one of the reasons I picked this board is it's so nice and responsive. That's a cool sound. Alright, so let's just... Just did a quick key test. Both of these are going to be for sale on the website. If I don't keep this one, I'm really tempted to keep it. If you compare the two, you can see the woods. The color matches pretty well. I mean, it looks pretty almost from the factory. I'm really happy with the way this came out. I mean, there's obviously some differences in the way they look, but that's really sweet. Remember, I'm the world's worst keyboard player. I guess the octave buttons don't really matter anymore, do they? Nice bass. Hang on. Nice bass. I love I mean, it's an MS-2000 engine, right? This thing can really... Factory patch. Don't know what's up with those. I think the engine just got hung up there. Alright guys, I could play here all day. At any rate, yeah, what can I say? Pretty happy with the way this guy came out. I'm pretty stoked. I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to turn one of these into a module. Waiting for a good candidate, and I got him. So yeah, there we go. MicroKorg turned into a module. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.